you tired of the same old Marvel film? Unoriginal origin stories that breed lackluster sequels. Awkward, intrusive humor that appears anytime the movie has a chance to have any source of tension. Wading through a sea of mediocre films, hoping that the next one will live up to the high of a handful of great ones? I know I sure am, and by now you've most certainly already disliked the video. But I'm here to tell you that if you're like me, someone who misses the days in which not every Marvel movie felt the same, when there was a spark of hope that the next one would be more creative than the previous, Thor: Love and Thunder may just be that hope. The first trailer to Thor: Love and Thunder just dropped, and it makes one massive deviation from the usual Marvel trailer formula that has me incredibly excited about it. Now, I know Marvel sort of has a tendency of releasing tonally misleading trailers, with their most recent example being Moon Knight, which was teased as a grounded psychological thriller, but was eventually revealed to just be your standard Marvel action comedy. But honestly, why even make trailers if you can't blindly get your hopes up over them? And just to be clear, I'm not saying Moon Knight's bad, and at the time of recording this, it's only 3 episodes into its 6-episode run, but it certainly isn't that breath of fresh air the trailer originally had me believe it would be. The Thor: Love and Thunder trailer has me genuinely excited for a Marvel movie for the first time probably since Endgame. I know most people would probably say that the most recent exciting Marvel movie was Spider-Man: No Way Home, but we all know what I thought of that movie. Once again, now's your opportunity to leave your premature dislike that nobody will see. But that's because this trailer, rather than focusing on some grand epic journey, focuses on the personal, emotional journey happening within Thor. And that might not seem like a big departure from your average Marvel trailer, but hear me out. When the trailer opens, we get a brief glimpse of Thor throughout different stages of his life, as he narrates that he no longer wants to be the warmongering Viking that he spent thousands of years being. He's taken up a life of peace, burying Stormbreaker and joining the Guardians of the Galaxy in search of self-identity. All Thor's ever known was battle, and so now that he's given it up, he feels lost. I love that it looks like they're dedicating an entire film towards Thor's existential crisis and exploring parts of the character that we've never seen explored before. I know a lot of people didn't like Fat Thor in Endgame and thought they were just using obesity as a punchline, but I honestly think that Thor's arc in Endgame is what makes him the deepest character in the entire MCU. I don't think Fat Thor was meant to be played up entirely for laughs. I think it was a genuinely sad depiction of a character that we'd seen be confident and bombastic for years. It was almost disturbing seeing what used to be borderline a comic relief character turned into something so vulnerable, so scared, so depressed. And I love that it looks like Taika Waititi isn't just gonna ignore that aspect of Thor's life. Like, that movie revealed to us just how insecure Thor is. Now, I'm not saying there won't be villains or action scenes. I'm sure Marvel's still got a pretty tight stranglehold around Taika's sassy little neck, but it does feel like the stranglehold is a little looser in this one. The trailer plays more like a dramatic indie movie than a Hollywood action film. It looks like it's not only going to be developing Thor's character, but dissecting it, getting into the deeper fears and emotions of the Norse god of lightning. It reminds me a lot of Tom King's Mr. Miracle, which was an exploration and dissection of a Silver Age DC Comics character. Mr. Miracle has the ability to escape anything, and also super strength. Because obviously he has to punch people. What do you think this is, Seinfeld? He spent his entire childhood being tortured by his adoptive father, Darkseid, which, in his old comics, taught him how to escape any situation and made him a strong fighter. But in Tom King's version, the years of torture resulted in severe PTSD, depression, and anxiety. Tom King's version asked, what's the one thing that the man who can escape anything can't escape? And the answer is death. The inevitable. And so even though there are action scenes and a villain in Mr. Miracle, the focus is highly centered around Mr. Miracle and his loneliness and fear of the inevitable. And I'm really hoping that Thor: Love and Thunder takes a similar, yet obviously less intense approach to Thor's character. How would a man who spent his entire life fighting deal with swearing to a life of peace? Who is Thor without his weapon? I'm also really hoping that the existence of this female Thor plays into that existential crisis even further. And just like for the record, I know her name isn't like female Thor, but I don't know if this is Jane Foster or just some new character entirely. But not only is Thor struggling to find himself, but he's now being literally replaced. And I think that can really challenge his confidence even more. Now, I know a lot of you probably think I'm reaching, and this is gonna be another typical Marvel action movie that just had a clever, misleading trailer. And you're probably right, but Taika Waititi has proven time and time again that he is a master at juggling dark, mature themes with absurdist comedy. Jojo Rabbit is an incredible film because it balances humor and drama so well. That film analyzed what it meant to be a German youth living in Nazi Germany, and I'm hoping he treats this movie as another one of his character studies. This movie's also primed to be like unbearably sad, by the way. I don't know if any of you have that feeling, but I don't know if Thor's got any more movies in him, you know? Thor's one of the last Avengers. It's just him and the Hulk, and, like, they're never gonna make a Hulk solo film. I don't even know if they'll ever make another Hulk team-up film. You know how fucking expensive it's gotta be just to, like, keep the Hulk as the Hulk now? What a weird decision that they made in Endgame. What a weird, expensive decision that doomed the Hulk from being in anything else in the future. Again, I don't know. As far as I know, the Hulk's gonna be in, like, Black Panther 2 or something. But my point is, watching this trailer, it really does feel like a swan song for Thor. Marvel's cycling out all their old heroes and making way for a new generation of them. And I think the fact that this Lady Thor is in the trailer doesn't bode well for Thor sticking around. If I had to speculate, I do think this is Thor's retirement film. And if we look at the title, I think there may be some double meaning. Obviously, the title, Love and Thunder, is supposed to play into that, like, heavy metal rock album cover vibe that this and Ragnarok had. And we see that here with the soundtrack. Guns N' Roses' Paradise City is playing over the trailer. And the title does sound like a Metallica album name. But doesn't it also kind of work as, like, a reminiscence of Thor as a character? It's almost like a bittersweet sounding title. Like, if Thor does retire in this film, and this is the last movie we see Thor in, which it won't be, you know, because Marvel, but in a world where Chris Hemsworth does retire from being Thor, this title will take on a whole new, sadder meaning. And like I said, I think that's great. I think Taika Waititi is the director to bring that level of emotion to this character, and I love that even though he only made the third Thor movie, he's really, like, adopted this character as his own. He took Thor, who in the first two movies was kind of just this, like, bumbling oaf, and turned him into this really endearing, emotionally vulnerable, complex character. And so if this is the last film with him in it, oh boy, gonna be brutal. Gonna be tough, for sure. On top of that, this is the only Marvel movie I can think of that has just stunning cinematography. Every shot in this trailer is gorgeous, not just in terms of CGI, but in terms of lighting and composition too. I'm glad like 30 movies into the MCU we're finally getting one that has like great cinematography. Even the color palette looks far more vibrant and less washed out than your standard Marvel film. It feels like Taika, who I'm really hoping I'm not mispronouncing his name. I always like juggle between Taika and Taika. But it feels like he earned Marvel's trust, and they're giving him a little more creative freedom than they typically give their directors. Again, this is all just judging from the one, like, 2-minute long trailer we got. Look, who knows, maybe this trailer will trick us again like the Moon Knight one did. And it'll be another shallow Marvel film that can't commit to any serious emotions without throwing in 3 or 4 lame jokes into the scene. And if it weren't for the director, I probably wouldn't get my hopes up. But again, he's proven numerous times that he's an incredibly creative filmmaker that doesn't dampen his dramatic scenes with intrusive humor. So fingers crossed, Marvel's finally giving us another character-driven, emotional story. That's what made the latest Suicide Squad movie so good, and that's what made everybody fall in love with the Guardians of the Galaxy. But anyway, let me know in the comments what you guys thought of the trailer. Also, let me know what you're looking forward to more, Thor Love and Thunder or Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. I'm very interested what people think of these two films, so let me know in the comments. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Also, for my regulars, hi, how's it going? You know who you are. Let me know if you want to see any more comic book stuff. I've got actually a few comic book related videos planned coming up that I'm super excited about. I just have to finish reading them. Trust me, you're really gonna like it. I actually was gonna do a Mr. Miracle video, but I think too many people have read it. You know, it's not fucking hipster enough for me. I try not to do too many Marvel videos because if you couldn't tell from this one, I love the superheroes, you know? I'm a massive fan of superheroes. I grew up with the comics. Moon Knight was my favorite as a kid. Now Invincible's my favorite. I don't know. As like a filmmaker and an asshole, it's hard for me to talk about Marvel films because I'm just so cynical towards a lot of them. I really like Marvel fatigue has hit me really hard, and I just get kind of disappointed when, like, you know, a character like Moon Knight, who is so ripe for like something weird and creative and abstract, just gets like your standard Marvel treatment. And you know, I don't want to be a negative guy here on YouTube, so whenever I don't react to something or whenever I don't review something, you can just assume that I didn't like it and don't want to put the energy into like giving constructive feedback about it. I would much rather just like not cover something at all if I can at least give like a proper analysis on how to make something better. Like my Spider-Man videos. If you haven't seen those, go check those out. Let me know what you think of them in the comments. Didn't like the movie at all, but I had like a few pretty cool ideas in my opinion as to how it could have been better. On top of that, in terms of more content coming up, I've got like a ton of Avatar videos coming up soon. I just got this like big explosion of Avatar creativity recently, and so we're gonna see some of that, and that'll be cool. Oh, also, the people in my Patreon Discord have all been telling me they want to see me do a Pokemon Smash or Pass video. I probably will, regardless of what anyone says, but just to gauge excitement, let me know in the comments what you would think of that, and I will see you guys next time.
But now I always seem to freeze.